What's up, Juventini? Welcome back to the AJC, your channel dedicated to Juventus. Unfortunately, no victory show today. We got a draw show in a very, very frustrating match. 2-2. It ends there with Lazio. Paolo throwing up gang signs. What's going on here,
I'm trying to do Yildiz Star, and I think I...
Holy smokes, buddy. Hey, rock
West
and
side.
roll. Rock
West
and roll.
side.
And then slap them together.
All right, well, the slapping part I'm having trouble with. Anyway, I'll figure it out.
Put the rock and roll signs out. Rock and roll out. And then just connect the fingers. Boom.
Okay, well, anyway.
Palms out. Palms out.
Okay.
Jesus.
No more.
No, I think
You're our star, buddy. You're our star. There you go. Hey, you know what?
In here.
It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. Listen, I think it's a sweet celly though. But I wish he was selling yesterday, and I wish we were celebrating yesterday. Frustrating match, and we're going to tackle it all. There's a lot to take in as far as takes coming in from the fan base and feelings around this Juventus. You could see in the title here, it's complicated because yesterday felt like a match where a lot of ugly, bad habits reared their head again, and it's just that question. Have we plateaued with Spalletti for now? Is this pretty much the norm and what you can come to expect until we actually hit summer and actually bring in cavalry and strengthen the squad? We're going to tackle it all together right now. Got Mas, got Paulo. Of course, Paulo, now that the gang signs are done. How you doing, brother? It's been a while. It's good to see you.
I'm doing great, thank you. Good to see everyone out there, even though I can't see you. And good to see you too. I'm doing well, thank you.
There you go. There you go. And Mas, of course. Mas, how you doing today, brother?
I'm pissed, man. I'm pissed. I don't normally have very, aggressive reactions to games when I watch them, but this one really, we're going to go over it, but
nice.
I'm pissed, man. I'm pissed.
There you go, everybody. Aggressive Mas is in the house today, so we'll see how that one plays out. I look forward to it personally. Okay, now, chat, great to see you all. Okay, Alex, Tuna, Matt, Frankie, T97 Keepers, Giovanni, great to see you. Jay Brute, it's okay to see you, Justin. Matt, Alex, I'm kidding, Justin. Okay, we love you. DR1S, great to see you all. Drop a like while you're in here. Again, for newcomers, subscribe to the channel. Your one-stop shop for everything Juventus. If you're tuning in on another outlet, get over to YouTube, smash that subscribe. Kick giveaways coming up in a few days, everybody, okay? Good luck. Now that the housekeeping out of the way, let's get to business. Juve Lazio and what was. We'll start with the starting lineup. Di Gregorio back between the sticks. You got Kalulu, Bremer, Cope Miners, Cambiaso, Locatelli, Thuram, Cabal, McKennie, Yildiz, and David. So for me, I'm just going to say this. I was expecting Miretti to get a start, and I was actually looking forward to just a little bit of a change up there and maybe getting him in there, getting him involved. Wasn't the be-all, end-all. Ended up going with Cabal while still keeping Cambiaso up there. I've been pretty clear about my feelings as far as Spalletti and the faith given to Cambiaso while some struggles are being shown. But ultimately, I didn't really have a big issue with this starting lineup. I would have liked to see Miretti get some minutes here. But again, it is what it is. Mas, any thoughts on what Spalletti ended up going with?
Yeah, it was not what I expected, let's say, but again, at the end of the day, we still had enough against the Lazio team that isn't very strong, and we were at home. So there's no excuses. Like, that was enough.
For sure. Paulo, any thoughts on that lineup? Yeah.
We got what we got, man. So some of them end up on the field.
Okay, there you go. It's as simple as that. I mean, come on. Lazio going into this game, like, one of the worst away records. Barely any wins, barely any goals. 6 goals in 11 matches. We concede twice to this fucking team at home. We'll get into it, okay? Let's get into it. 15th minute in. I'm going to say this right now. I said it on the pregame show. hyping up Kalulu's crossing, which all of a sudden has been ridiculous, but he was serving them up on platters yesterday. This one, 15 minutes into Bremer, oh my God, unfortunately too close to Provedel, and he makes a stop. It's a good save from like point blank range, but again, just a little too close for him. 24th minute. This is where shit gets interesting. Cabal drives forward, dishes it off. In comes Cataldi. Okay, play continues for a long period of time while Cabal is down. It ends up with Cope Miners scoring a goal. Dude that needs a goal like a Kraken needs a hit. This guy scores. Offside. Thuram. Okay. Now we got to break this down. You have a double sequence on this play where the officials are called into question, okay? So first off, we got the AJC arbitro coming in here on the offside call. On Cope Miner's goal, Thuram is ruled to be offside for interfering with the play. And in this specific case, blocking the goalkeeper's vision. People may be upset because there's been similar plays from other teams where a goal has not been taken away. However, Thuram was very close to the trajectory of the ball. This call is pretty straightforward and was the correct call. It's even better that it was called right on the field and the referee seemed confident about it. Very different from what happened right before. Penalty kick decision on Cabal. Guys, I was screaming on the watch along. This is as easy a call as you get for me. It's a PK. It's a PK. Arbitro, on this contact, there are a few things you need to consider. Most importantly, one, who initiated the contact? Where was the point of contact? What was the consequence of the contact? Defenders are always taking a risk when they go in for a slide tackle. Considering the Lazio defender went to ground completely, missed the ball, and stopped Cabal from running into the penalty area, this is a foul. Cabal was still a part of the play and had no opportunity to avoid the contact. This was a penalty that should have been given to Juve. This entire weekend of Serie A was so inconsistent with these decisions. Something needs to change. I hope that the reason VAR missed this isn't because they forgot to check, because they were distracted with the offside decision. Let's see if they release this audio. I'm going to add a couple of things here as we look forward. Okay, as far as the goal comes in, with this being the call, I said, you know what? By rule, I understand it. Okay, because that is by rule. But in the same token, can we have some fucking consistency? As Alex P has brought forth a video and they literally look at these two goals, and you've got Inter with Pineapple Head jumping right over a ball that's shot from DeMarco there, clearly in the lane. It's the consistency that I have a problem with. That's where I have a serious problem, is the consistency. As far as the Cabal play, his other leg isn't even planted when the contact comes in. Any nonsense from Chihuahuas trying to say he could avoid this, he can't fucking avoid it. The contact's right there on his leading leg, coming in late. That's a PK every day and twice on Sunday. I'm furious about that, boys. Thoughts on that sequence, those plays?
Again, I'm normally not one to talk about refs. But guys, if this isn't a PK, I throw my hands up. I don't know what else to say. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Honestly, the guy dived in. There was contact. Cabal went down. What more do you need? What more?
Yeah.
And it's just another example of the reffing mistakes we've seen all season long with all teams. It happened in the Napoli game too this weekend. Like, it's, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. We keep saying something's got to change, but similar to the national team, you can say it all you want, but if nothing changes, we're just going to repeat the same thing. So I don't know. It's frustrating. It's super frustrating, man, because it's clear as day. Like, what else do you need, right?
100%. Paulo, any thoughts on these two sequences?
Yeah, it's a poor miss. A lot of leagues are struggling with the officiating, and I think, I mean, my son officiates. That's his part-time job. It's not easy. I get it. But there are rules there for a reason, to make it easier for the referees to make decisions that are difficult if they just defer to the rule book. With VAR, and it's made it more complicated, even though it's supposed to have made it easier and clearer. There's no excuse that this is not a penalty, so that's really frustrating. It's kind of obvious. And then on the Thuram interference, that is a penalty, and it's inconsistent again. But why he's walking back from being next to the goalie when there could be a rebound, there could be another play bringing the ball back into the box while Cabal's on the floor. That's on him for being out to lunch when Coop got a shot off and ultimately would have got us the goal anyway. So bad on Kefram he had a bad game, but bad on him for not paying attention, getting his ass in gear. But that's a miss on that penalty. That should have been a PK.
Yeah,
anyway.
The PK is a clear cut. The other one, I don't have the worst. I mean, it's also frustrating. I mean, Alex P highlights it too. Like, I mean, that shot's also deflected by the defender. You know, like it's fucking frustrating. The trajectory changes as well. I don't know. I don't have a problem with the interference rule. You just have to be consistent. You can't see goals go in other sides where it's clearly the same situation and they're allowed in one section and they're not allowed in another section. This is what creates the disaster that is happening. Handball is another one. There was also a handball sequence in this game, everybody. Jonathan David popping a ball up, Gia's hand right there. I'm sorry, but after the shit I saw called on Bremer in Coppa Italia, this is more of a handball than that one was. So, I don't know. Now, all of a sudden, if you're telling me it's normal for a defender to stand there with his arm like this where it pops up and hits Gia, okay, well, then this is the disaster you have created. So I have little sympathy for the officials, for VAR, for anyone involved in Serie A because it's just horseshit at this point. There's no consistency whatsoever. But now we get to Juve and the game because you have to forget about that. That's an early sequence. We talked about it. That's 24 minutes in. Does it affect the game? Does it impact the game? Absolutely it does. Getting a PK there, if you score, changes things. But it does not give you an excuse to fall into a lull because as that first half went on, I said, and call me a jinx, whatever you want, I said we're slowing down way too much. Tempo is dying, urgency is dying, intensity is fading. When that happens, I said, we usually make mistakes. I apologize, okay? Because we made a big mistake, and it was Locatelli, and this was a terrible giveaway. It should have never happened between Cope Miners, Locatelli. This ball's there. There's options. Go backwards with it. He holds it forever. Excuse me. Maldini strips him. Run back. Pedro gets it. Bremer, to be fair, was a little bit late all game. But he's late there. He gets a foot on it. It goes short side by Di Gregorio. I don't fault Di Gregorio on this one. I'm not truly faulting Bremer. It's just usually he's a lot cleaner in that. Like he closes the space quicker, makes it a little bit more challenging. This was frustrations all the time, but it should have never happened. Locatelli can never get dispossessed in a moment like that. Not when you have an option right back there with Cope Miners as well. This is infuriating, boys. Infuriating. This feels like old demons rearing their head, right? You fall asleep, you play in this lull, and there you go. You're fucking behind just like that in a first half where you should never be behind. Never come out of that first half behind.
It's frustrating because the trend with us seems to be like we're playing well the majority of the time, but the goals we're letting in are just total errors. Like
blackouts,
mistakes
man.
Should not be. Yeah, literally, like we're blacking out. Like it's. I don't know. I don't understand. It's a shocking trend, to be honest. If teams are beating us with clean plays and set plays and this and that, you got to tip your hat to them. But the way we're letting in goals right now, and it's a lot of goals, it's a bit of a concern, to be honest.
5 goals last 2 games.
Yeah,
and a lot of them from mistakes, right?
Yeah, can't be happening. Yeah,
Paulo, any thoughts on this brutal goal to allow right before the half?
Yeah, I'm not bothered by it. I don't like it, of course, but I'm going to give Loka a pass because he has these oopsies in his game. Every now and then he'll do something that seems like a big mistake, and it'll cost us. But he's played really well, and we've gotten a lot out of that guy this year. So I'm going to give him a pass. Bremer, I'd rather a Bremer that's a half step late and either missing a header or getting a toe on a block and it ends up deflecting to go in than no Bremer at all. So these things happen, and because of the number of chances we created, I don't like these moments, but I'm willing to forgive them considering we could have had several goals. And as you'll probably talk about, some of the other chances they had were more concerning than the result of that one, in my opinion. But I'm giving Loka a pass and Bremer a pass. It is what it is. It's a deflection. It goes in. They're lucky.
The frustrating thing with Loka, and I think I mentioned in another pod, like he has played so well, but these types of mistakes sway the people that might have gone to his side in terms of his positive performances. It only takes one mistake.
Despite the fact that it's like 20 straight plus matches of like very consistent play there. This is how it goes. I mean, I see it all the time. I see it in my DMs. I could show you my WhatsApp. That's like, you back this guy, you back this guy, you back this guy. Then they go quiet. I don't hear from these people about these players for like weeks on end. And then all of a sudden it's like, see, I told you. It's like, come on, guys. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt there. Alex P says, is it possible? Alex P says, is it possible? He thought the whistle was going or something. It's like he just like stopped completely. It looked like he was just completely out of the play. But then also there's some fans challenging the way Maldini stripped him, hands all over, pulling him on the back, and then getting into this. Look, at the end of the day, Loka still has to realize those footsteps are there. It seemed like he just had no idea. The guy was like right there on him. So at the end of the day, I'm going to give the blame to Loka on that one. It's a turnover that should never happen with the ball at your feet as controlling midfielder. So nonetheless, we go into half 1-0 down. We're talking about changes that could be made. Spalletti ends up pulling out Cabal. And to be honest, Cabal was like a circus to me, man. It was up, down, all around, everywhere. Like, I mean, he gives you the good, the bad, and everything all in once. I have no idea how to rate this guy because it's just, you might as well just leave it the same all the time because whatever he goes up with, he goes down with in a different sequence. That's kind of what it was. Zagrova at the 46th minute. I was actually making shouts for Boga based on what I saw. I said if he's physically able enough, because of urgency, because of tempo, I actually would have picked Boga before him. That's what I was saying in the watch along. However, Zagrova, this is an opportunity early in the second half to really show your stuff. Show that urgency isn't going to be a factor and that you can get in there and add some intensity. Cambiasso gets moved to the left back position. Holy fuck, that stings us right off the bat. What on earth is this? It looks like he's caught between not just two minds, maybe potentially four minds. Are you stepping up to try and get Isaacson offside? Because you haven't even checked the defensive line anyways. So it's like now you're stepping up. Are you stepping up to cut off the ball? Because the ball wasn't even that great anyways. And if you stayed where the fuck you were, you could have taken one step to the right and just cut it off. And we're done. Then he gets behind you. You don't have the pace to catch up. And Jesus, this one, Di Gregorio has to save. I'm sorry. This one, you absolutely have to save. Provedel, 15-minute, huge header, point blank, right above his head, parried away. This one, about 9-10 yards to the right. Not a venomous shot, but a good solid shot. It goes right over your head. You've got to stop that. I'm sorry. D-Gray's got to bail us out on that one and keep it at 1. Guys, thoughts on this fucking play?
Oh, God. A comedy of errors.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. DJ, listen, as a Juve keeper, you're not going to be facing a lot of shots. You're not going to be warm all the time. But when the shots do come, you need to be ready for them. And that's a save that at that point in the game, start of the second half, you're already demotivated coming out of the room. Like he needs to make that save. You said it. Like there's no excuse. I don't know what happened. I really don't.
That one's got to be a stop. Yeah. Paolo, got to be a stop, right?
Yeah, Cambiasso, another frustrating result for him. But he was in the end, he was tracking the guy. He was next to the guy. That mutt gives us a lot of trouble whenever we play him. And down the right side, he's always looking for action, looking for angles, looking for dives, looking for shots. But Cambiasso, in the end, is still next to him. He could have put a foot out, whatever, but that shot that he got off was a strong shot anyway, and Digre's got to get his hands up and put that over the crossbar. So
yeah,
another bad result.
And this is what frustrates me. We have complicated this result. 2 fuck-ups, both end up in the back of the goal. Juve has complicated this result. So now all of a sudden, I'm not even thinking about that missed PK or opportunity, etc., because it's just like you still should have never found yourself on this point. You're dominating the ball, but that's only half the battle. I never felt in that first half we were really on top of Lazio. After this goal, I did start to feel finally like the alarm clock went off. Now you're getting on top of Lazio. 59th minute. This was off a shot from Zagrova, actually. Nice low hard shot. Provedel making a good save. Provedel made saves. We were testing him at least. Some were pretty close to him, etc., but we were testing him. Zagrova takes a shot. Parries away to the side. Cambiasso's on top of it. Makes up for it at least a little bit. Excuse me. He crosses in. McKennie, beautiful header. Kisses the post. Goes in. Okay, we got a sign of life. Locatelli picks up this ball. We run back to half. You got a lot of time. You got half an hour. Okay? Get on top of them. This is the one thing steady in this game that was giving Lazio issues. The aerials. Our crossing was actually very good. This is one of the first games in a long time where I felt like players were putting dangerous crosses in. We were giving our players opportunity to get there. McKennie continues, okay? Then you get to, again, just a lot of like dominant ball possession and opportunities coming here and there. A lot of block shots, but there's also a lot of sequences. I want guys to shoot. They're not shooting. These guys still have an issue not shooting there, but you still have good opportunities here and there. 69th minute, fantastic opportunity. Finally, seemingly getting close to David, playing off of them, but this was David and Thuram with a beautiful, beautiful passing sequence to get in behind Lazio completely. This is a damned if you do, damned if you don't moment for David because he could take a rip. He could try to swipe at goal. Provedel was jumping out pretty quick. He takes the higher percentage here of slotting it inside to Bremer. Hey, fair play. That's one hell of a fucking clearance by Nuno Tavares. Mm-hmm. That's a hell of an intervention, man. Like, that's one of those sequences in a tight game where you do everything right and you still just can't find it home. So, again, if David shoots that and he doesn't slot that in, he's going to get roasted for not slotting it into Bremer. And yesterday, he goes in, and they're like, man, he probably would have scored if he just shot it. Well, here you go. Ifs, buts, whats, doesn't really matter, right? That was a huge play, fair play to Tavares. I think everything was done right there. And those are kind of more of the sequences that are David's bread and butter. So you got this thing going on with David right now where everybody's saying, we need a strike, we need a tall nine. Yes, but you also can't play to another set of characteristics or traits in a manner that you would another. Yesterday, though, it'd be hard to argue that a big man wouldn't have helped based on how suspect Lazio looked on aerials, right? One more big man target probably would have helped. Now, you keep going on, 77 minute cross in for McKennie. He settles it. Excuse me. Yildiz smashes this volley too close to Provedel. This was a good moment. I actually thought Yildiz was going to smash this one home. No such luck. Guys, it goes down to the wire. Jeremy Boga, who comes in, okay? Boga was substituted in the 76th minute for Cambiaso. Man, he beats his man, puts a fantastic cross in there. This thing was on the money. And lo and behold, it's Pierre Kalulu. He comes in, heads it home. You have like a minute left to try and get a winner. You can't do it. But the second half, after going 2-0 down, that was finally dominance from Juve. Finally dominance from Juve. A lot of more opportunities in the second versus the first half. But it ends there, 2-2. We're going to get to stats. We're going to get to ratings and shit and then get into the aftermath. But
we got to say, Openda could have won this game for us.
He missed a header. He missed a header in there close. But to be fair, David missed a good header. David missed a good header. Free and clear about 8 yards out, right in the center of goal. Didn't even hit target. Yeah. I don't even know where to go here. Thuram passed up 2 beautiful shooting opportunities. The list goes on and on if we really want to get into it. Because you don't finish a game like with 34 opportunities, 6 big chances, and it's all down to one guy and a substitute that was made late. As much as I need way more from Openda, I'm not going to throw this guy under the bus in yesterday's game. This team had more than enough time and opportunities to win this match. Even if we look at the garbage from the officials, etc., it's one of the reasons I can't really stomach it, is because it's frustrating, it's annoying, but we made a living off making these other teams bitch about officials, bitch about calls, call us Juventus. And why? Because we overcame it. The reality is this group cannot overcome it right now because nasty habits, nasty mistakes keep rearing their heads time and time again. If I sum up this game one way, self-inflicted damage. Mm-hmm. And you could say that for a lot of drop points this season, can't you? Over the last 5 seasons, can't you? A lot of self-inflicted damage. Lazio showed me sweet fuck all. To me, it's a lot of our same wrongdoings that crept up. But now you get to the interesting part where you talk about Spalletti, you talk about the players, you talk about, are we plateaued? Is he pretty much handcuffed until the summer and it's going to be all hands on deck? We'll get into it, but statistically speaking, this game, guys, 34 opportunities, 6 big chances, 63% possession. They finished with 9 total attempts, not a single big chance in this game, okay? They double up their XG. They should have had nothing out of this thing, okay, if we're being serious. You're looking at the ratings, and D. Gray finishes 5.4. Kalulu 8.2. He was official man of the match. Bremer 6.8. Cominer 6.7. Cambiaso 7.9. Huh? Locatelli 6.8. Thuram 7.2. Cabal 6.5. McKinney 7.4. Yildiz 7.4. David 5.8. So boys, real quick, just an overview before we get into the actual discussions here and whatnot. Just a quick, brief overview of the game. Paulo, like your thoughts at the end of this thing.
Creating that many chances is a good thing. There's been a lot of Juve teams I've watched over the years that didn't do half that in a game. So I'm really happy that the chances are coming and we're creating opportunities for change. That's the positive. The negative is, yes, these are self-inflicted. Mistakes happen as they've happened. But I also think we're not as good as we want to think we are. And that with that comes mistakes, comes 2 goals out of all those chances, and giving up 2 goals on the counterattack. So I just don't think we're that good. And I think those opportunities are great.
Okay. And Mas, your kind of brief overview before we get into the goods.
Listen, we talked about it in the green room. We needed this game. Like going into Inter, wanting to have the hope of potentially, catching them in the Scudetto race. It's just frustrating overall that we weren't able to pull out a result. Listen, I think the team looks tired. Certain players definitely need to rest. I feel like Thuram at this point, where a couple of weeks ago he seemed to be actually turning it around and peaking a bit. I think he's regressed a little bit in the last few games. I thought Bremer looked tired. The fact is we don't have a roster that has enough depth to be able to overcome some of these guys that need a rest when you're putting them out there. But I had another point, but I can't remember it. It's just, yeah, it's a game we needed, like I said, and it's a failure on our end.
Let's my kind of takeaways are just that's about as frustrating as I've ever seen in a single match for a number of reasons. Obviously, the official comes into play. The number of opportunities, while a big positive, like Paolo points out, execution continues to be an issue. And on top of it, you make costly errors that cost you, that screw you in results. It's this carousel that Juve has been on. We felt like we were getting off the carousel, but the last few matches have said, hey, your spot's still here. This ride's not over. So we're going to keep going on it, I feel like, at least probably till season's end, until we can bolster things properly. You need to get the stability in. We've been talking about it. Spalletti's done a big improvement in a short period of time, and I've been calling it out. I said, you get to a point where you make so many improvements so quickly that then to see any more signs of improvement, it's going to be almost faint because you're playing with that last little bit. And now the question is being asked, is there anything to repair, to recover? Is that pretty much it? Until you just simply get more quality, get more experience in. Hey, we'll tackle it. But this was one of the most frustrating games I've seen. Kalulu says, we didn't react after going 2-0. We were playing that way the entire match. I disagree. I disagree watching this match. You can't have 11 opportunities in a first half of play where you're dominant on the ball and then all of a sudden almost triple it in the second half and tell me that you played at the same intensity against a team that really didn't do a whole lot in either half in Lazio. So obviously you guys did turn it up and the urgency got there and you were trying to get the ball in quickly into the area and throw crosses in there. I disagree that you played this game at the same level from start to finish. So I have to disagree with Kalulu there. Speaking of Kalulu, he was the official man of the match, had the highest rating. All I'm going to say as far as this, even with the mistakes, I don't feel Di Gregorio or David should have been in a negative. I don't feel they should have been in a negative. You can make the argument for how little work Di Gregorio did and didn't stop that. Okay, if anybody's going to go slightly in the negative, I'll give it to Di Gre. But I don't think David should have been in a negative based on what he was doing in that match. Everybody's saying he's not offering anything and whatnot. He is a type of striker that you need to obviously mold your game to. It's as if when we had Vlahovic and we were trying to play link-up play and we were shitting on him, you needed the guy like David for the link-up play. But then yesterday where you want the aerial prowess, etc., and you're trying to play that game, you don't so much need David. It's about putting it all together. So I was just left frustrated. But Kalulu, he was my man of the match. That guy was serving him up on platters. He should have had 3 assists in this game, if we're being serious, with the crosses that he was laying in there. Goal and 3 assists. Mas, was he your man of the match?
He was, and listen, I'm very impressed by his progress. Super impressed. I think he's actually making a shout to potentially actually making the France team for the World Cup coming up. He's doing everything we need to do. And we need him to do right now. He's on the field every minute. Hasn't missed a game. And like you said, Bert, his crossing has actually improved pretty significantly the last few weeks.
Yeah.
To the point where he's actually an offensive threat now. You can't ask more from him right now. He's yeah, he's the guy right now, for sure.
Paolo, was he your man of the match for Juve if you had to pick one?
Yeah, I think he could be. Something happened to him 2 weeks ago. Now, we watched this guy, go down the wing, make crosses, try and get on the behind a ball, get a shot off, whatever, looking awkward, looking great, looking confused, looking hesitant. He's been a real anomaly offensively since we've had him. But as of 2 weeks ago, it feels like they've been practicing what he can do on that right side, because he is instantly doing consistently good crosses, good decisions, staying higher, being more offensive without committing in ways that take away his duties as a defender. So he's doing great. And something happened the past couple of weeks, because this guy's crosses and his play offensively seems to have been solved and sorted out. So good for him.
There was a show a while ago where the discussion came up, and I brought it up here, and I said, is it crazy to say that Kalulu's actually the beating heart of Juventus? He might actually be, based on what he's doing, more so than Bremer, more so than Loke, more so than any of the most consistent players. This guy has been an Iron Man, and he's been bringing exactly what we need, and now he's taken it to another level. That cross quality lately has been top drawer stuff. And we have to capitalize, and we have to take advantage. But that's been fantastic. So Kalulu, he might be the beating heart of this team right now at this moment in time. It'd be hard to argue anyways. Hard to argue it.
One more thing on this match, Bert, and I remember the point. It was the point that I wanted to make before. In terms of our summer market, I don't care what position it is that gets filled, you need to bring in experienced players this summer, bar none. For me, that is of the utmost importance for this team, because I feel like they don't know how to play when adverse situations happen. When they go down 1-0, it's like, who's that guy on this team right now that's going to grab somebody by the shirt and say, get your head out of your ass, let's start playing. Like, you look at those 9 years of dominance, I keep saying it, like, this shit would not fly with them. And you need guys with experience that have been there before, that are able to talk to some of these younger guys.
There are definitely some needs Juventus has going into the summer. We'll probably get to that. Another thing in the second half, like one of my takeaways I got to get into, because we saw it in the second half and you didn't see it in the first half, and I'm tired of fucking saying it, but I'm going to say it again. Yildiz has to play off of the damn sideline. He has to get away from that fucking sideline. Second half, it was way better. He's getting in dangerous opportunities. He can work off teammates, work off David. Otherwise, there's no point in having a shadow striker like David whatsoever if there's nobody to play off of him and do the 1-2s and get shots off. Yildiz is wasted hugging the sideline. I don't care when fans tell me he likes to play there. I don't give a fuck if he likes to play there. I don't need him hugging the sideline so some TikTok influencer can get some close-up shots of him. Get the fuck in and around the area where you can create damage and you can score more goals. You can assist more goals. In the second half, Cambiasso was kept to the outside. When Yildiz is right directly on top of one of our fullbacks, and you saw it with Cabal as well, there is nowhere to go. There is nowhere to go. And then what you do is you force one of those outside players to move centrally, to move inside. The problem is, what does that do for the defenders? Absolutely nothing. They keep their shape, and they don't care that you've run into the middle where they've occupied the space anyways. It does nothing. In the second half, you saw Kenan Yildiz moved slightly off that sideline, and it's better. This has to happen. I cannot stress this enough. He will not go next level, and we will not improve until this guy occupies the proper space. For me, get him inside. Agree? Disagree, boys?
For sure. We've talked about that. Him being our best player, we've talked about it all year and last year, getting this guy more central so he can use all his talents, his vision, his ability, his he's so dangerous on so many levels. But hopefully this contract kind of invigorates him to now be free and take more chances and grow, because the outside left is a safe place, right? It's a safe, comfortable place where he can do the same things that he knows he can do that have worked for him before, and he feels good there. But yeah, he's wasted staying on that sideline. I look forward and I hope we see a lot more of him in the middle where he can be in charge of a game and not just take charge now and then.
Yeah, it's a drastic difference from first half to second half, and that's the way it's got to be with this guy. Get him away from the damn sideline.
He's too good. Get him off that sideline.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's wasted. Put your best player in the heart of the action. Get him on the ball as much as possible.
Mas. And you know there's more goals in him if that happens.
For sure.
Like you just see, like he's on the cusp of it happening. It's just
it's everything though. It's drawing fouls, forcing mistakes out of defenders because they freeze up. They know how good he is technically that mistakes will happen. Other guys get space, and for God's sakes, when you get those shooting lanes, shoot the damn ball. That sequence yesterday with like 10 short passes, one after another, top of the area. I'm like, I saw 3 guys with an opportunity to crack the damn ball, and none of them looked interested in even taking a swipe. I don't like that. I don't like that. If you're going to now move on, Boga looked good again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In another brief cameo.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a world where you do slot Yildiz inside and maybe play Boga at the same time?
Absolutely.
I'm willing to try it. Yeah,
I'm willing to give that a go too at some point. If you want to talk about bagging more goals, give it a go.
And the guy wants to cross, right? He wants to put balls into the box and pass. Thank God we have a winger who wants to pass.
He looks lively. He looks willing to take his defenders on. And fuck, man, that's a money cross. Like, he put a few good crosses in yesterday. Unfortunate not to maybe get a second assist in there too. So Boga and maybe slotting Yildiz in centrally, it's an option because you can't sit here and cry about what you don't have until the summer. You got to take care of business and you got to get results. So efficiency and effective rate at the final third has been a problem. And yesterday that highlighted the execution, still not to the level of where it needs to be. But hey, I'd rather be at the spot where we're creating that much, because I do feel like eventually it's a matter of time. But the truth is, I think we're just going to be streaky when it comes to goals because we're doing it by committee. You know, you got McKennie, who's got the most goals of any midfielder in all competitions since Spalletti has come in, with his 7th yesterday. He's doing fantastic work, right? But it's goals by committee. Nobody's just grabbing the reins, running with it, whatnot, and you have some guys struggling. Like Chico needs to become more prolific. That's the flaw in his game. Yildiz, I'd say, needs to get more involved to get those goals because he is a goal-scoring threat. You're doing yourself a disservice to put him in areas where he just can't score. David gets the odd opportunity here and there. He's more playing for the team at this point and becoming this shadow striker provider. That's just the reality. Openda is not offering much of anything. You've got like a lot of things at play here. If Boga steps in and he looks this good, it might not all of a sudden become a Vice Yildiz thing. You might have to look at trying to ramp up even more in the attack to get things going, right? But man,
I just feel like everybody's being too nice. Like we're not clinical enough and selfish enough, some of our players. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think you nailed it. Like, take a rip sometimes, guys. Please.
Yeah.
Don't always look for that.
Why are you being pretty? You're not a pretty. Like, why are we trying to be a pretty team?
Yeah.
No.
I think some of that's.
We talked about David in the green room, right? Like, not having that one guy who's bagging you goals at the moment. It's nice that it's coming from all areas, but it would also be nice to have that one target guy. I wish that Vlahovic was playing right now, to be honest. I know some people have some knocks against him, but I think he would gel pretty well with the group right now. I'd love to see what he'd be able to do. And I loved his celebration yesterday, too, after the second goal.
I think it's game dependent, but he's more of an aerial threat than either one of the other guys, and it'd be hard to think that he wouldn't have helped in a game like yesterday. There are some games where I don't feel that way, but that's why it's kind of circumstantial. You know, it is what it is. Guys, do we have a goalkeeping issue? That one's going around hot and heavy right now. Chat, do we have a goalkeeping issue?
I don't even know how to answer that, to be honest.
I think our backup is the issue. I think Perrin's got to get lost. I'm sick of that guy. It was fun when he was tweeting and doing all this social shit to get his face on camera, to chatter in the coach's ear to get rid of Matzo Ball there. But I'm tired of him. I want him gone. I want a good backup, a good young backup that can make Digre kind of perk up and pay attention to his starts. So I'm not worried about Digre because I think in the end he's not great with his feet. He needs to come out more and challenge more in a crowd. Hopefully he does that more often and gets better in those areas. But he does stop a hard shot. He's generally positionally okay. He's good up close, one-on-one for the most part. I think we need a good backup. I'm not worried about the starter.
Do we have a goalkeeping issue? You could see in the chat it's kind of split. And then you have the comment, the goalkeeping is not priority now. I didn't ask, is goalkeeping a priority? I asked if we have a goalkeeping problem. Those are two different things. Because you could say it's not highest rank of the priorities of issues that are around this club, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there's not an issue. If I'm looking at these two keepers, okay, number one, Perrin, I have lost faith. If you're talking about the last 10 matches he's played in, you go with 2 wins, 3 draws, 5 losses, that's an issue. That is losing faith in a guy stepping in as your backup and being able to get a job done. Now, I've been saying for a few matches, Perrin doesn't look confident to me. He doesn't look like he has that confidence. When you get to Di Gregorio, the majority of the goals that he has been getting heat from, I haven't agreed with that he should be taking flack for some of these goals. So I'm not really of the belief that he is a problem. But I am definitely open to upgrades coming in if it suits the club. He's not at a level where I believe you should never look to change or anything, but if you're talking about a goalkeeping problem, Perrin would be the problem for me because you can't go to your backup. Di Gregorio, yesterday, he's got to stop that. But in all honesty, there are a couple opportunities that should have never even arose for Lazio in the game. And to be fair, if you really want to look at yesterday's game, they had some counterattacks that they absolutely pissed away that probably should have ended up in the back of the net. It's one of these games where what's happening in front of them, the whole team, etc. Perrin is not trustworthy anymore, in my opinion. If you're looking at Di Gregorio, I don't think he's a problem, but I wouldn't be opposed to upgrades coming in. But again, it can't be one for one. You need to find ways when you improve this team that you make a change that it goes for a couple. Like, you need to make one change and get a couple players coming in that can help the cause and get going. If you're just talking a one for one at keeper, if you're talking about splashing 60 million on like Carnesecchi, absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not.
No way.
That is not the play for you. Goalkeeping with Di Gregorio is not to the level where you need to splash the majority of a budget on one fucking role. So ultimately, I would have to side with it's not a problem, but it could be an area to improve if the details line up.
Could be a cause for concern. It's
could be a cause for concern. But yeah, the majority of the ones this year where people were ripping on goals and stuff, I'm like, nah, I don't really see it. Well,
in Italy specifically, who would be an upgrade to Tigre? Magnan would obviously be an upgrade, but he's already re-upped with Milan.
Yeah.
Carnesecchi obviously would be an upgrade, but Atalanta, and again, the fee is going to be astronomical. Other than that, I don't see many other keepers in the league that would, overtake Tigre in the pecking order.
Yeah, not in Italy.
Yeah, I see Svilar as a show. Yeah, possibly Svilar too. He's had a good season.
I think if you're contending for the number one spot year after year, I think if you're one of the top 10 teams in Europe and you're making long, deep Champions League runs, then that's a position that you can tweak to go from strong to really strong or perfect. Mm-hmm. But we're not close to either of those two things, in my opinion. So he's the least of our concerns. Therefore, I think Peren's betting's the problem and not Tigre, and goaltending is not really an issue. Our backups.
I look at this and I see a guy that's like second only to Sommer over a couple of years for clean sheets. And then I think about how many more he could have if it weren't for some of our fuck ups as a team. And you could actually be talking about a guy that's got the most clean sheets in the league over a couple seasons. And to say that, it's clear cut an issue, I don't think is really fair. And even if we want to say every keeper we play against plays better than him, well, does that have more to do with our execution and the level of our shooting? Because we put so much right at keepers too. Like, we're not rude. We just talked about it. Weak execution, no ruthlessness, etc. I'm telling you, I don't feel it's a problem. Could be an area to improve, but my God, man, does what the team do in front of them not matter like whatsoever? Because second to only Sommer, a team that is supposed to be the most complete in all of Italy, he doesn't have many more clean sheets than Tigre, and we've been a shit show as far as mistakes and errors go, costing us goals.
And people get up to play against us. It's a spotlight for them. It's a big show when they're playing Juve. The goaltenders want to stand out. They want to win the game for their team. Playing Juve is a treat for all these teams in Serie A. So the goaltenders step up. We've had goaltenders step up out of nowhere versus us all the time. They just love playing against us. It's their moment.
This was another one. Main takeaway from fans: we didn't win because we don't have a true 9. Chat, panel?
No, we didn't win because we made mistakes that cost us goals. That's why we didn't win.
I think we didn't win. Sorry, go ahead, Mass.
Yeah, I mean, a 9 wouldn't have helped you prevent those mistakes. That's bottom line.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus. You had more than ample opportunity to win this game. I mean, you allowed 2 garbage goals to go in. Your result will always be complicated in Italy if you're conceding. Guys, they scored 6 goals in 11 away games. We allowed 2, and both of them were dog shit from us. Dog shit from us. It's nonsense to say you needed a striker in that game. No, you needed to fucking play with the proper intensity from the first minute to the end, not when you're down 2-0.
Yeah.
Cambiasso fucking asleep at the wheel. Locatelli with an awful turnover. Like, that shit can't happen. But you get so confident. You get this false sense of confidence in this ball possession that you fucking fall asleep. All I'm going to say is another big man would have helped because we were crossing it in. But if you tell me you lost it specifically because you didn't have a 9, I disagree. That is characteristics, that big man up top that we will lack from time to time. But that's the reason you lost or drew the game yesterday, which feels like a loss? No. And it's funny that we actually said loss because it felt like a loss, but it was a draw. It was a draw. But that's not the reason you drew that game yesterday. I can't agree with that when everything goes against it. Eye test, stats. No, you had more than enough to put it away. And any team that you play in Italy, if you allow 2 garbage goals, okay, and concede 2 garbage goals, you're going to be in dire straits. You know, you're going to be in trouble.
34 shot attempts, 23 in the second half. I mean,
yeah, like it's just no. That is not the reason you drew. You drew because of stupid mistakes that you need to clean up. Now, I got to get into this one. Cambiaso. I've said it a million times. Spalletti, I believe he needs to get out of this faith that he has in this player. It is not helping you. I don't know 100% the alternatives because Cabal is all over the map. You have brought in Emil Holm. Maybe you can operate a shift with another player to one side, but Emil Holm has played both sides at some point. I don't know the answer, but I'm telling you, the faith in this guy is not being rewarded. Like, you have to find a solution. And I know it might seem crazy because the results have come fairly well since Spalletti has come in to now try to tweak these things. But, man, we talked about it. The guy's borderline liability.
Yeah.
He made up for it with an assist higher up the pitch there. I do think overall it was better keeping him wide and moving Yildiz inside. But another big brain fart from him has us 2 down. You know?
At what point do we think maybe it's management that's telling Spalletti, you got to play this guy because we need to bring his value up as much as possible because he's actually a player that we can make some money off of. So you need to do whatever you can to just get him going. And he keeps trying. Like what else could it be? Like
so true understand. From Joe. I used to call him Casper the Ghost. I would take the ghost back because it did less damage.
That's
just have
exactly
him
right.
on the pitch and not causing damage. I don't know what to do with this guy, but you know, the reason I bring up Cambiaso, and let's get Paolo's thoughts on just Cambiaso, Spalletti, like, does he have to cut this faith in this player?
One thing I think I've figured out about Spalletti, or at least my opinion is, he kind of knows what he's doing. And I never thought I'd say that, but I think he does. I think he's playing Cambiaso and Coop again and again because I don't think he has any choice. I think he's damned to try and make these 2 players work somewhere, somehow, because he doesn't have alternatives. So he's trying to continue to force their presence on the field, hoping a switch goes or they snap out of it, whatever it is, and they start to get on a bit of a roll. I don't think he has a choice. I think our depth is a real problem. Our starters are a problem. And that's why these 2 guys find themselves on the field because there's no other options, I don't think.
And that was fine when they weren't making mistakes. But the fact that they're costing you goals, Cambiaso specifically,
yeah, it's
I
bad.
mean, at what point do you throw up your hands and go, I can't do this anymore?
When you have an alternative.
Yeah.
If you don't have a better person to put out there, you have to put this guy out there, and it sucks.
So here it is. Is Juve plateaued? Is this the most we can expect from Spalletti for this season? For the remainder? Ups and downs all over the place.
I think, I don't want to speak for Paulo, but I think he would agree when I say that I think with the roster that we have, this is what you're going to get. It seems like we go on a solid run of games and then we just put in a stinker, 1 or 2 of them, and then we'll go on another kind of good run. It's great teams are consistent across the board. Like you look at Inter, I hate to bring up Inter, but they're not dropping points. Kivu's got them playing very, very well. And they're consistent. With the roster that we have, I don't think we're going to see that consistency this season, personally.
Yeah. And Paulo?
Yeah, Mass, you're right. I think the consistency is we have a couple of good games. Players will have their moments, and then they fall apart on a given day. And then you have a game where it's someone new who's making mistakes. Maybe it's 2 or 3 who are having issues in a particular game. We don't have the depth. This is as good as it gets. And sometimes it makes us believe and makes us happy and excited. And we beat Napoli 3-0 and we have a solid performance. And then there's games that like the Monaco game where our depth was a disaster, the Atalanta game where our starters were not good enough, and then yesterday where we can put 30-something opportunities on net and not cash them all in and get a tie. Yeah, we are who we are. And that's the consistency is what we've seen.
Yeah. Ibrahim states, no, we can do better as a collective force. So my thoughts on this, has Juve plateaued? I sadly kind of feel like this is pretty much going to be what you can expect. Streaky in goals because they're doing it as a collective. There's nothing definitive. There's nothing that we have truly defined in terms of how we operate and just that clear, like you can bank on this happening game in, game out. It feels, very sporadic in terms of, hey, it looks like we know what we're doing, or hey, we're on top of these guys today, like we're all over it. It's still a little sporadic. There's a lot of talk about why he went back to a 3-man back line the past 2 games. Now all of a sudden we struggle. Guess what? It's been hybrid the entire time. Nothing has really changed on that front. 4-2-3-1, 3-4-2-1, however you want to draw it up on a lineup sheet, it's been a hybrid 4-2-3-1 since day one with Spalletti. It's never been a true laid out 4-2-3-1. So I don't even think that's really it. But I'm going to say that I do sadly feel like we have plateaued. It is going to be up and down for the rest of the season because of depth. You just don't have the depth to keep that level, to keep that push, and you don't have the experienced heads around. And again, one thing I've said about this team that we need to shake, that they're showing me Spalletti can't shake it yet, and he might need that cavalry in the summer, is every single time those expectations do this and elevate, the team has blackouts. Mm-hmm. And that happens because I think a lot to do with depth. I think it's a lot to do with depth. You don't have the guys pushing these guys. You also, again, haven't defined something solid and completely understood amongst all these players. It's very, very hard. You're asking essentially a 1A lineup to do it every single time, game in, game out. And when you've been getting goals as a unit and spread out, shit, man, where's your killers? Because when shit gets going, who's that game breaker? Who's that guy that just puts the team on his back and does it? I sadly feel like every time the expectations start to increase, the blackouts are there. And I feel like it's only going to get better with depth. Locatelli leaves the game yesterday again. Miretti is the one called upon to pull the reins and everything. And I don't think he did a bad job by any means, but there's a lot of shortcomings all around this place. Cope Miners, 60 million player, can only be used as a left center back. But he did something that I liked yesterday, stepping forward, taking shots, taking rips. Why can't Lloyd Kelly do that when he plays that position? Furthermore, why the fuck can't Cope Miners do it when he's playing in the fucking midfield? You know what I mean? Like, what is happening here? We still have so many baffling things around this team and how they play. That's like, I don't understand. But if you're not getting a level where you can feel safe with giving some of these guys some reprieve to keep the level here. So while you go back and people might want to challenge and say, well, look at the years we had Lemina, we had Sturaro, we had etc. on the bench. The fact of the matter is, you just have to maintain a level within that group. But sadly, our 1A lineup still has gaps. And that's the difference.
Yeah.
because these guys aren't even called upon to like come in and just do their job as a bench player. They're being asked to fill in some gaps in games and sometimes in key moments, etc. And that's the reality. We've done a lot. Spalletti's done a lot to get as much as he can out of this group. The next gear, the next step forward is some serious help. I do believe Juve needs like 1 or 2 serious signings this summer, at least 2 serious signings. And I'm going to sound like a broken record. I don't give a shit. Bring me Bernardo Silva. Because while you talk about strikers and stuff too, which we need help, you're going to be looking for a striker anyways. This guy, I talked about it a number of times. For me, this is a signing Juve has to get after and hopefully land. Bernardo Silva is like pretty much an Iron Man, barely misses anything any season. I highlighted it, but like one injury or one stoppage this season that didn't even cost him any games missed. The year prior missed, I believe, 3 matches. The match before, the season before that, only 2 games. The thing is, you need a guy that can bring goals and has that final ball ability up top that can help. Obviously, you need another striker. But Bernardo Silva, bring me Bernardo Silva in the summer. Bring me Bernardo Silva in the summer. And that's only one of many needs that we have, which we're probably going to get into as we start to have some fun. We're going to start with Paolo as he takes on the hot minute, okay? Paolo, you're going to be on the clock here. And we've got some questions for you, okay? We're going to put you
in
the hot minute. First up, and chat, you guys answer along while we go through these. We're going to have some fun. Will Juventus reach top 4 this season?
I think we can get 4th. Earlier in the year, I said it was going to be close. I thought we were going to be hanging around 4th or 5th. I think we have holes. I think there's inconsistency there that we've talked about today. And I think we can get 4th, 3rd. I'm not sure. Anything more, I've been in doubt. So I think 4th if we just hang in there, yeah.
Just 4th. Okay. Mas, are we getting top 4?
I got to believe the way Spalletti has the team playing, I think we have enough to finish at minimum 4. Top 2 is basically, I've gotten rid of that in terms of hope. 3 would be nice, but I think at least top 4 we can do it.
Yeah, 4 I'm not concerned about. I think now anything above 3rd would be bonus with some of the points that we've dropped, etc. I think it's kind of hidden that point, but 4th I think will do. What does Juve absolutely need in the summer? Feel free to say who.
I'm not sure who, because I kind of want to see after the World Cup what's available, where certain players end up. Some of them are coming up on contracts that could be bought early with release clauses or deals made, but we have no money. Right now, we've got a lot of money tied up with a lot of players that have 4 years, 5 years, 3 years. So we need a lot. I think we need a backup goalie. Obviously, we talked about that. We need one who's young, up and coming, who can contend for a few starts, maybe push Di Gregorio a bit. We need another defender. Now, that can be an outside left back. It can be a center back. It could be someone to relieve Kalulu. Maybe a guy like Holm is okay for now to kind of step in, but we need at least 1 back, maybe 2. In the middle, we need a playmaker. We need somebody who can be what Meretti isn't. We need somebody who can be what Loca isn't, and in a pinch, maybe help substitute either of them. So we definitely need somebody in the middle. We could use someone on the wing to replace Cambiasso. I don't want to have another lineup on the right side because we got Grova, we got Chico, etc.
All right.
But someone definitely on the left and then someone at top. We need a striker. We need at least 5 guys, I think.
5 guys. Okay. Finally.
We need to come up with a punishment if he goes over a minute.
Shots.
Oh, yeah.
Shots. Tequila shots.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. Are any of Cope Miners, Openda, Cambiasso salvageable?
Openda, no. I think we got a real problem there. We got 4 years. We got, I think, up to maybe 40-something million tied up with this guy now. I think that's a problem. Moving him's a problem. I think his performance is a problem. A big 9 might help him to work off like he did with Sheshko when he was more successful. Cambiasso, he needs to be benched. He needs to be benched for a few games until he gets his head out of his ass. Then he might come back. He's got to simplify his game. Coop, if you play him at left defender, maybe. Otherwise, he's a good shot. He's a good set piece player. Good. I don't know. I don't think so. I think Coop has to go, but no one's going to buy him.
All right. There we go. And we end on that one. So, Mas, your thoughts on those players? Are any of them salvageable?
My favorite right there is watching Paulo's brain work when he was trying to think of something good to say about Coop. He's like, oh, he's
trying.
I guess he's a good set piece taker. I don't know.
Look, I've said my piece on this guy. You got to say goodbye. Openda is a major problem for Juve at that obligation and the output. Instant value decrease. You got to be willing to take your lumps. This whole line about, hey, you're not going to get what you need in the goodbyes, guess what? Too bad, so sad. You got to take some lumps too, and you got to work that into the build this summer if you're going to be serious. It wouldn't be serious. It wouldn't be ambitious to keep Cope Miners around just for the sake of, you don't want to take a hit. You got to figure that out in your sales and your summer business. Like, you got to find a way to keep the roster moving. A 60 million euro player that can only be used as left center back is a fucking problem when he's been brought in to bring goals and assists to the midfield. And the positional thing is fucking useless to speak about this guy because he's played everywhere except goalkeeper. There is no more excuses for this guy, period. Like, we didn't sign a 60 million euro left center back to play backup to Lloyd Kelly.
But is he better than Cambiasso and Cabal? And what I'm getting at here is Spalletti's got to play him anyway, because if you have to play him to get your money back on him, to find a place where he works. He's probably better than Cambiasso, and I think in the Atalanta game I would have started him instead of Cabal or Cambiasso. So you have to find a way to get this guy going. And yeah, a $60 million left back is not what we bought into. But if he's more productive than those two guys and he somehow gains some confidence and a bit of his value back, you have to play him there. So
no, that's left center back. Kelly is the left center back. If you're talking Cambiasso or Cabal, that's putting Cope Miners on the outside as like a fullback role. There's no chance I'm playing him as a fullback.
You wouldn't play him on the left side of a four at the back?
No. I wouldn't.
I would.
I
would over Cabal, Cambiasso.
I think his pace pretty much puts him at left center back as like a be all end all. On the outside, I think he'll get torched. I'll be quite honest.
They'll all get torched. Cambiasso gets torched and makes mistakes. Cabal's all over the place.
Cambiasso does it from fucking brain farts. Cope Miners.
So I don't disagree with you that
won't physically be able to do it. Cabal's pacey. He's got physicality. He can cross a good ball, but there's too many ups and downs in there. But Cope Miners as a left back, holy fuck, that's a stretch, man.
They're all a stretch to me. So I hear you, and I don't disagree with your concerns, but the problem is back to the depth.
And furthermore, you brought in Emil Holm that could play left or right back. So it's
I like a left-footed guy in the left. You don't care about that. I get it. I think Holmes.
I don't know, man. Coop, there's a bit of a stretch for me, but I don't know. Mas, would you play him there?
I would not. I would put Holm in before I put Coop there.
Yeah. But that's the problem. That's the reality of what Spalletti's facing, is that there's actually a discussion here between like guys that are actually positioned there or fucking Cope Miners to find somewhere to utilize this guy. That shows you the level of the issues and the struggles we have. So, hey, it's anybody's thoughts, but I say buckle up because it's going to be up and down the rest of the way. It's going to be up and down the rest of the way, I feel like. Sadly, when your goals by committee, it's going to get streaky, guys, and you got to clean up the mistakes. That's our one, must. You have to clean up the mistakes, because you can get by the rest, but your expectations while you're making so many mistakes to concede goals, that's a killer. So just clean it up and you'll get the job done. You'll get the job done for some bare minimum objectives this season. But if you're going to continue to allow softies, you're in for a world of hurt. And we got a big week coming up with Inter and Galatasaray. There cannot be mistakes like that. You will be punished. You will be punished. So they got to clean it up however the hell it happened. That's up to Spalletti and the lads to figure it out. But if you walk into those matchups and you're making mistakes like that, they're going to put you to the sword, because we can't put teams to the sword, but they'll put you to the sword. So you got to figure it out. Guys, we're going to have rank in the masses now. Mass, you got a top 5.
I do have a top 5. So, listen, after yesterday's game, I needed something to kind of pick up my spirits. So I wanted to pick a topic that would get me in a good mood. So we all know Yildiz renewed his contract. This is a player, we all know what he's capable of. We all know the potential that he has. Probably, I would say, the most exciting player in Serie A right now to watch. But not only in Serie A, probably one of the most exciting players in the world to watch. So it got me thinking a little bit. Today we're going to count down the top 5 most exciting Juventus players to watch in Juventus history. Now, the rules here were, so I'm not looking at stats. I'm not looking at tenure, how long the player was with the team. No historical significance or importance. This is strictly players who made you jump out of your seat, get chills, just made you have an emotional impact when you were watching them, and really say to yourself, like, how the heck did that guy do that, right? Similar to last week when I did mine, I'm going to start with a quote that could be from a manager, a former Juve player, a former player just worldwide, and then we'll go into a bit of the notes. And I will say, if there was any top 5 that I've done that really screams being able to show video clips, it would be these ones, because describing some of the goals that I'm going to describe doesn't do it justice.
Are you doing players? Are we doing players we've seen?
Players.
Or are you doing players you haven't seen either?
Players we've seen.
Yeah, because you got to talk about the chills and stuff. So it's got to be you've seen. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Platini would have probably made this list, but I didn't watch Platini. So, okay. So let's get going here. Number 5, Carlos Tevez, 2013 to 2015. So here's a quote from Gigi Buffon. Watching Carlitos play excited me like only few others do. It's about how much you impact the team with your demeanor. He used to make runs that might have seemed stupid for his teammates, but it was a signal, a jolt that galvanized everyone. So, listen, in all my years of watching Juve, I'm hard-pressed to remember a player who matches the energy that Tevez brought on the pitch. He was really the perfect blend of, like, intensity, work rate, skill, all really put into one. This guy, as he got older, he adapted tactically, and he was able to kind of reserve his energy so that he would get to certain points of the game or certain positions on the field that he would just basically find himself open and just explode, literally, and make insane plays, whether it be goals, assists. People forget that this guy was given the number 10 after Del Piero left. So he came in for those 2 seasons with massive shoes to fill, and all he really did was score world-class goals, like, even at that age. I mean, he wasn't super old, but he was on the latter part of his career. And then looking at his most iconic play, in my opinion, 2014 versus Parma, 7-0 win. Tevez picked up the ball deep in his own half, dribbled past multiple Parma defenders, speed, technique, calmly slotted the ball home. It was probably his best goal with Juve, in my opinion. So I would say, if you guys want to see one of Tevez's best goals, I would look at that one in terms of that one versus Parma. So number 4 is Zinedine Zidane, 1996 to 2001. So this is a quote from Zlatan, okay? When Zidane stepped onto the pitch, the 10 other guys just got suddenly better. It is that simple. It was magic. He was a unique player. He was more than good. He came from another planet. His teammates became like him when he was on the pitch. So listen, I'll be totally honest. It has to be said, Zidane is my favorite player of all time. So I give this guy the utmost credit from taking me from being a fan of football to absolutely loving the game. Like, he did that to me when I watched this player play. The best way I can describe Zidane is elegance, magic. Like, if you guys were lucky enough to watch him in games live, it was an absolute treat to watch him operate. And the fact that he's fourth on my list shows you how much I feel about the top three. But listen, magical technique. His first touch was elite, balance, vision. You know, he was able to dominate games, playmaking abilities. Some of his techniques and his abilities were some of the best that you've ever seen in football. This is a guy who came over from the French league, very tall, very lanky. He was able to come in, be impactful right away by not only adapting to the league, but also, changing his physical stature to be able to keep up with the rigors of Serie A. And listen, he knew how to elevate his game in big moments with, similar to a lot of Juve players of that era. He was a big game guy. And then in terms of most iconic play, I got to say Regina 2000. He basically dribbled past 3 or 4 defenders before scoring a strike that was essentially unstoppable, in my opinion. So that would be Zidane's best moment in terms of Juve for me. Number 3, Paul Pogba, 2012 to 2016. So this is a quote from Tacchinardi. Pogba is a pure diamond. He has the ability to make the very complex appear so simple. Before watching Pogba, I had only observed 4 people with whom I had played like that. Riquelme, Zidane, Del Piero, and Totti. There are some midfielders who define an era. This will be the age of Pogba. So again, I may take some heat for putting Pogba ahead of Zidane, but being a fan of Zidane should tell you how much I rate Pogba in terms of that prime period. And we're obviously not talking about Pogba 2.0. This is strictly Pogba, prime Pogba years with Juve. Listen, he played on the left side of a 3-man mid with Pirlo, Vidal, Marquisio got littered in there, and he was really given the license to essentially do anything on that side, whether it be, make runs forward, enter the box, shoot from distance. He had no restrictions, basically. Perfect blend of physical dominance, technical flair. I'll be honest, up until his arrival, I'd never seen a player like this before. A player of his size and his stature doing the things that he did on the pitch. It was, if he wasn't going to beat you technically, he was going to outmuscle you. I don't think defenders of that time knew how to stop him, to be perfectly honest. And his shooting was unreal. I mean, if you look at any sort of Pogba highlight reel package, you're going to see multiple bangers from distance that looked impossible, but actually resulted in goals. So, and then most iconic play, January 2013. You guys must all remember this one versus Udinese, a goal that Pogba himself said could be his best ever. Long range shot, outside of the boot strike. The thing looked like a roller coaster.
Insane
went up,
strike.
dipped down.
Insane strike.
And that gave birth to the term Pog Boom. That was one of the best goals I've ever seen, bar none. So Pogba slots in at number 3. Number 2 and number 1, again, you can switch back and forth here, and I may take a little heat from this one too, but number 2, Alessandro Del Piero, 1993 to 2012. This is a quote from Marcello Lippi. Regarding Del Piero's situation, my thoughts are very clear. I would sum it up in just 4 words. Del Piero is Juventus. We all know that already, but listen, Del Piero wasn't just great for Juve. We all know this. He was perfection. For a lot of us, he was the player that really ignited our love for this team. This is a guy who could score any possible way you can think of. Chips, curlers, free kicks, one touches in the box. He had everything in his toolbox. We had a conversation recently about players that you would tune in to watch games for. And Del Piero was one of those guys, if you were a neutral or a fan of another team, that you just needed to tune in because you never knew what he was going to do. And he was always going to do something that brought you out of your seat. And again, another big game guy. How many big games did we see him come up clutch with huge goals, crazy passes. I mean, this guy wasn't, super fast, wasn't super powerful. His IQ was off the charts. It almost seemed like he was always one step ahead of his opponents, his defenders. It's at the end of the day, the impact that the ADP had on me as a fan cannot be, overestimated. The emotions that he made me feel during his tenure were just amazing. They'll never be forgotten. And then in terms of most iconic play, for me, it has to be 88th minute volley winner with his right foot versus Fiorentina. This guy was 20 years old when he did this. Go back and see this goal. It's often referred to in Italy as one of the greatest Serie A goals of all time. It was a late winner that put Juve up 3-2 over Fiorentina. Just amazing, amazing goal. And then for me, number one, Roberto Baggio, 1990 to 1995. So I have a quote here from Lucio Dalla, who's a singer, actually. So it says, Baggio is the impossible made possible, a snowfall from an open door in the sky. When you watch Baggio play, you hear children. So where do I begin with Baggio? I caught him, his prime. I really started watching Juve during his prime there. And for me, he's the most skilled and exciting player that has ever played for Juve, bar none. Technical skill, vision, versatility. He was just as adept at scoring goals as he was passing and creating. His free kick ability was world class. This guy on the pitch played with, and much like he handled himself off the pitch, he played with like this Zen-like ability that gave him this calmness that allowed him to see things, miles ahead before everybody else. And there's a lot of people out there that claim if he didn't have his knee issues, he could arguably have been, one of, if not the greatest players of all time. So, and listen, the biggest compliment I can give this guy is he made me happy when I watched football, when I watched this guy play. Bottom line, he's my GOAT when it comes to Juve. So that's it, guys. That's the top five.
Top five most exciting players for you personally at Juventus. Mas, recap them 5-1.
Number 5, Carlos Tevez. Number 4, Zinedine Zidane. Number 3, Paul Pogba. Number 2, Alessandro Del Piero. And number 1, Roberto Baggio.
Nice. Paolo, I'm going to ask you, give me your top 5 for you personally.
Wow, thanks for that, Mass. It's so joyous to hear these names and talk about them. They make me excited. They make me proud to be a Juve. We're missing some of that at times right now, but great list. My son's name is Alessandro. ADP is my all-time favorite. Gary Neville said, whenever I faced Del Piero, I got scared because I had no idea where he was going to go, what he was going to do, when and how. And he just froze. He said that was the one player who he was the most fearful of. So ADP is my number 1. Zidane, he beat the shit out of players. He beat the shit out of everybody on that field by himself with majesty and skill and strength. Unbelievable. Pogba's on my list too because he created bangers. Like this was the guy who you would just go, oh my God, banger, banger, banger. Pogba was fantastic. And what a showman. What great hair. Love Pogba. Baggio was beautiful. Baggio always delivered. Like ADP, he scored. And he did it for the Azzurri as well. So there's a guy who always delivered. And I want to add one more name, Ronaldo, because when he signed for us, I couldn't believe it. And the first thing I did was I reached out to my dad. I said, do you realize that we have Ronaldo? An incredible player, all-around incredible player. And I think he's another one of those Juventus players who makes you go, wow, and just jaw dropper. So great list, and thanks, Mass. Love to hear those names and talk about them.
My first, it probably gonna go 1 to 5 in order. To be honest, it's just sequence. My footballing life started with Roberto Baggio. He is gonna be number one for me, as far as excitement. The first second I started watching with my dad, I was locked in. I'm like, who is this guy? What the hell is he doing? Who is this wizard? It was insane. So Baggio will go number one for me. Del Piero, right into Del Piero, who at the beginning of his career, there's probably a lot of our audience that, witnessed later on from 2011, like the last year, 2011, and some of the banter years, you didn't truly experience Alessandro Del Piero, like prime Del Piero was something else. It was insane. He's going to go number two for me. Oh, man, this is where it starts to get difficult because...
This wasn't easy. This wasn't an easy list.
This is where it starts to get difficult because, I'd love to throw... He's not like the flashiest. Okay, I'm going to put Zidane number 3. Zizou has to make it for me. After that, it's like, I'd like to throw a shout in there for a guy like Nedved. Not the flashiest, but he was exciting in a different way because he could score such a vast variety of goals. But he was a demon. He was a force in the middle of the field. And, I feel kind of a way not putting him in there, but he might not make it over like a Paul Pogba who was just insanity. How he hit in those times. As far as if you're going pure excitement, Paul Pogba was like a straight injection of football into the veins. Like watching him through that first tenure with Juventus in the prime, that was something that was like a complete shock. A player of 800K, insanity to see the goals he provided, the play, the dribbling skills. The guy was so tall, lanky, it didn't matter. Like he just... Makes sense. He moved around the field, and he could break a game wide open with a pass at all ranges. Long range, short range, it didn't matter. He was very exciting. And, this is where I get hard, too, I'd love to throw Tevez in there, but, like, Dybala was a very exciting player as well. Like, a lot of magic there in the left foot. Fucking called the jewel, right? Like, he was a beauty. It's very difficult. Very, very difficult. 3 locked in. Lock in on Baggio, Del Piero, and Zizou as my 3. And then I might go Pogba 4, Dybala 5, to be honest. But, man, a lot of great lists. I see these lists in here, too. And, like, I see people changing their lists as time goes on over this discussion and stuff. But great, great stuff. Mas, appreciate you coming up with that. Love it. Love to see it. Guys, headlines. We're going to do headlines. Maybe do like a couple Storm the Barn just because we're running a bit OT there. Nico Gonzalez watch. He needs to play 45 minutes in 9 of the remaining 15 matches for Atletico. See you in June, buddy. See you in June. All right. Chico Conceição was warming up yesterday. Had to stop. And was not able to come in and help Spalletti in that matchup. And we got to ask the question. Do we have concerns here? May Chico Conceição be injury prone? Well, I mean, there's quite a bit of stoppages, isn't there, for a short period of time at Juve?
Based on the injuries, yeah, he is injury prone. It's out there for everybody to see.
25-26. He's got 4 stoppages. 1 of 22 days, missing 3 games between Juve and national duty. He had another one for 5 days, missing 1 match for Juve. He had another one for 12 days, missing 1 match for Juve. And then he had another one missing 13 days and 2 games for Juventus. So he's missed 5 matches for Juve, 2 for Portugal. It's a total of a month and a half in terms of days goes, and it's 3 muscular issues. So that's not the prettiest. If you go to last season, even when he was, the loan, 3 days, no games missed, 13 days, 2 games missed, 18 days, 3 games missed, 23 days, 5 games between Juve and Portugal missed. So he's kind of made that month and a half already so far in 25-26. There's a bit left to go. But, man, prior to that, though, had like nothing. So hits Juve and all of a sudden, boom, here we go.
You sound surprised.
Is it workload? Is it, do we have a super sub on our hands? Like just workload management? I don't know. But that is quite a bit. I mean, that is quite a bit. Hate to see it. Obviously, we brought in Burgess, and this stuff's supposed to come down and be brought down. Let's wait and see. There was a lot of people making comments about the physical fitness of Juventus. Some saying, oh, they look much better in physical condition. But keep in mind, Bremer seems to be a little bit off the past couple games, and you can't get him in. Get him out of the lineup, because Gatti is not 100% fit. And to be honest, Gatti's shocking lately. And Kelly would have to slot in there. But then you go into this carousel of issues. So it's hard to answer that question of have we plateaued and is Spalletti handcuffed without saying kind of, yeah, he is. But I don't know about the fitness. Chico Conceição, that's a lot for 2 seasons. It's not amounting into a lot in terms of games. It's a lot of time, though. And some of those games, you're going to want him out there. It sucks. And meanwhile, on top of this, there's still talks about Zhigrova not being 100%. And we're at February 9th. So, hey, the physical department is getting better. Okay.
Is it though? Is it?
I know. That's just it. We don't know yet. You're not going to know yet. This guy just came in. Like, I don't know. I still feel like we're going to need way more time to actually be able to say, hey, it's much better. We're going to need time. Let's try and see if we could just tackle a couple of these Storm the Barns here. Will Kelly finance our Mercato? I read that Tuchel is considering him for the next England games and World Cup. If so, I bet all the top Premier Leagues will be after him. Will you sell him, and for how much? That's a great question, Chris, by the way. Well, if an offer comes in, do you sell him? How much would you be looking?
Well, I think if we were to bring in a top pairing defender, he's going to lose a spot. Like if we bring in somebody in the summer, depending on what formation we play. But I mean, I don't know, 30, 40 million. I'd say probably 40 million. I'd probably get rid of him.
40.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they came in with 40, it'd be hard to say no to that. But I mean, honestly, he's not on the top of my sales list.
He's not.
Not anymore. Not anymore. So, to me, he's not on the top of my sales list. But if a strong offer came in, it'd be hard not to consider. But there's other names that I need to see at the top of that sales list first, to be quite honest. And we actually stand to make more money on a couple of those other names in terms of capital. So for me, if you ask me the question, do you use Kelly to fund the Mercato? My immediate answer is no. You don't. That's my immediate answer to that question. Paulo, thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. We need to hold on to him. If you get 30 or 40 million, I don't know what you get back with that kind of money. You don't necessarily guarantee his replacement or someone who's going to be better than him. So I would keep him. There are, like you said, there's other people you want to unload before him, like Gatti or Cambiasso, for example.
Yeah. With more capital in it, right? Like Gatti is well behind the 8 ball here. And it's just like, if you can get 30 million for Gatti, which is like a lot of capital straight off, that's the move that you take immediately. If you're looking at Cambiasso, even with a deflated value of 30 million, that's still capital. That's all going in-house. Like, that's solid. If you can pull away 55 roughly in capital between those two players on sales, I'm honestly looking at it. This is going to hurt the Juve Italia initiative that everybody wants to see, but we have to be realistic. These guys are at top of the list. Cope Miners is also top of the list, but he's not going to get capital for you. He's going to potentially be a little bit of a hit. You're going to be hard-pressed to break even, or you're going to be on the never-never plan of loans over and over and over and over until that contract's up.
Douglas Luiz.
Luiz coming back. I'd expect him to come back. You got to find a solution there. Hopefully his safety net will be there in the summer. Nico Gonzalez is coming back. So Lloyd Kelly right now, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Would you take 60? Would you take 60 for him?
Well, here we go. Now I don't expect anyone coming from 6, but 60?
I know.
That's wild. You're not getting 60 for him. Are you kidding me?
But the hypothetical is if a Premier League wanted to splash, if say he gets the World Cup, say he, whatever.
That's a Premier League number.
60 million,
40, 50, 60 is not uncommon
if you
for
got
a starting
60
defender.
for him, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Even 50, you have to think about it.
Yeah.
But here's my thing too: is like, you have to think about it. You do have to think about it, but you also you're going to be conflicted because you're going to be battling this squad build, where in terms of performances, in terms of what he stands to the team, he's far more important than losing these other guys.
Right.
So it's like, okay, 50, you take 40 in capital, or you take 50 in capital over two guys that are suspect in performances and are actually bringing less. You weigh that out in your team build. But right now, yeah, I don't look to fund it with Kelly. And I'd be, man, if numbers like that, you'd have to think about it. But man, I think we gotta start doing it for the good of the group. And you gotta really look at saying goodbye to the guys. These guys can't skate by anymore, right? Like, that's what you have to get away from. We've fallen victim to that under the debts and those circumstances where guys got by at Juve. Kelly isn't getting by at Juve. He's playing very well. So for me, get the guys who are just getting by out of here. We don't have time for
Gatti our fifth highest paid player or something like that? Isn't he up there?
Who?
Gatti. Isn't he up there?
Gatti's up there. He's up there. I don't think he's fifth highest, but he's up there. I mean, he's at three and a bit million.
Good God.
Yeah, like, it's just, for me, it's no. I wouldn't look to fund it with Kelly. Are we being treated unfairly, or do the refs lack experience and Serie A officials suck because of FIGC? This from Ibrahim. First off, it's always been this. Oh, hold on a second. It's always been the same. Amici di nessuno. Okay? That will never change. Okay? Second of all, I've said it a million times. VAR has made officiating shittier. Mm-hmm. They have a safety net there. They feel like, I don't know, but they just don't seem as strong as they were prior to VAR coming in. It's a security blanket, and I think it's made for shittier officiating. The consistency sucks. And to be honest, I'll take Serie A out of the equation. It's shitty in almost all the leagues.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I directly relate it to VAR. I think it's shit, and it's made them worse. And I would limit VAR in the future. I think you can deal with it for offside calls and stuff like that, but you need to get back to the officials standing firm and actually standing on their own 2 feet and making calls and sticking to them and dealing with it from there. Because has controversy gone down much with VAR?
Yeah. It's ramped up.
Fucking astronomical now. Yeah. Like, it's just like, it's not, it hasn't changed yet. You still have controversy all over the place and inconsistencies everywhere. I'd rather have the officials making their calls.
Yeah, if you're going to have BS calls, whether a human's calling it or VAR is reviewing it, then just go back to the way it was. What's the difference?
I don't mind VAR. I find it annoying at times, but it it showed in today's game with all the cameras and the level that these players play at, the speed, the intensity, the technicality of the way the game's played. It showed how wrong the refs have been. And I do not want to go back to stupid refs making lots of bad calls and closing my eyes because I can't see their error ways. VAR's not perfect, but the refs, I don't want to go back to just accepting terrible calls all the time.
But then you need to implement some sort of challenge type system. Like,
oh no,
you have to. Like, there's no way around it.
Well, no, it's like, it's the same thing. Whether they have a video fucking review for these guys, they're still fucking up. The rules, the laws are all there for all of them to follow. They're fucking up one way or another. You still have a guy looking at a fucking video screen, ultimately making a decision. So whether you take the video screen away or you make them make the call live on the field, my thing is live on the field usually gets these guys more involved into the emotions, into the dealings of the match. You're staring at a video screen. You're breaking a fast-paced play down into fucking like microseconds practically, okay, to break something down that happened at full speed. For me, it's garbage. There's shit one way or another. That play yesterday is a PK all day, twice on Sunday. That guy doesn't call it. VAR doesn't step in fucking anyways. So it's just shit show one way or another. But you still have the same guys that you say you don't want them to do it live. They're just looking at a video screen, breaking a live fast action play down slowly. And look at that Napoli penalty. They broke that thing down and still ended up fucking calling that as a PK. It was one of the softest fucking shit I've ever seen in my life. I just think it's fucking garbage, to be honest. I mean, I'd rather have these guys try to get refs into the state where they can feel the game and like call them properly through what's happening and get some control. Because right now, even in games where there may not be questionable calls or controversy, there's like these chippy games and where they seem to have no control. Because I just feel like we've made robots out of them, where it's just like, oh, the rule books don't apply, these laws don't apply. It's just like, oh, no, it's okay. Oh, well, they'll let me know. Oh, they'll let me know. Like,
I think there's a handful of refs who do what you want, Bert, and kind of do a great job. Yeah, there's a handful that do a great job. You see them in the World Cup sometimes. You see them in Champions League. It's but they're rare that you have that kind of.
It's very rare, but there are very few that go by the feel of the game, and they're into it, and you could tell. As much as I don't like the fucking guy, in Italy there's not many, but the closest you could get to that, which was Omer's defense of him, which I still think he's a shit official, but Doveri is the closest you get in Italy to actually going by the emotions of the fucking match. And that's saying a lot for Italian officiating, if he's the closest that does it by that. But hey, yesterday, I still say, take care of business, boys. Take care of business. Take care of business. Now, we got a lot of time. We got like 6 days to get ready for Valentine's Day Derby d'Italia. Oh boy. Oh boy. I'll send my cousins over there in Italy that happen to be a couple of them that happen to be Inter Merda fans. I'll send them a nice little fucking Valentine's. I got your Valentine's right here, okay? And then Galatasaray. Let's see what happens, everybody. But we got some work to do. I don't think it's the be-all, end-all, but just clean up the mistakes, boys. Just got to clean up the mistakes. And Spalletti might have to tweak a few things in terms of guys he has faith in, but it's hard to really get stuck in on Luciano because we can tell the options, they're not delivering either on their part when he's called upon them. And there's a long list of guys coming off the bench that have not delivered when they need to. So all hands on deck. Buckle up those seatbelts, boys. Mas, Paulo, it's been an absolute pleasure. Army, as always, drop a like. Feel free to clip whatever you like. And thank you for all the support. Smash that subscribe button. Everybody tuning in on your other outlets, get over to YouTube. Smash subscribe. In a few days, lucky winners will be announced for the kits. And then February's giveaway announced. No matter what, fino alla fine, forza Juventus. A big Derby d'Italia. Let's smash those Snakes for the second time this season. Take the double on them. And then all of a sudden, let's see what we can do with Galatasaray. Take care, everybody. Talk soon.